Discovery of 742 skeletons. Archaeologists rush to flee due to this mysterious reason. Throughout the golden years of archaeology, there have been countless mysterious discoveries that have shaken the world. Among these, the discovery of ancient skeletons and mummies stands out as a particularly remarkable finding, hiding many secrets that remain unexplained. Have you ever wondered what these mummies might reveal about the lives of long-lost civilizations? Could they contain clues that could completely alter the history as we know it today? These discoveries are not just physical remnants. They are doors opening to mysterious stories about people, cultures, and even civilizations that have long since disappeared. So, what hidden discoveries have archaeologists made in recent years? Let's watch today's video to uncover some surprising answers. I believe these discoveries will make you reconsider everything you thought you knew about history. Are you ready to explore? Let's begin now. 742 skeletons, 9,000 years old in Turkey. At the 9,000-year-old archaeological site of Çatalhöyük in Turkey, scientists have found a total of 742 skeletons. This serves as evidence of overcrowding, the spread of disease, violence, and environmental issues faced by the people living during the Stone Age. It was also the time when humans transitioned from a nomadic lifestyle to permanent settlement. According to Professor Clark Spencer Larson, an anthropologist from Ohio State University, Çatalhöyük was a bustling settlement starting from 7,100 BC and is considered the first known city of humankind. After about 1,000 years of existence, this city faced a tragic downfall. The evidence of a curse on the ancient city was revealed through the 742 skeletons. At its peak, Çatalhöyük was home to around 8,000 people. Researchers say that the population was so crowded that houses were built close together, and doors could not be opened as usual. Many people had to climb a ladder to get onto the roof before sliding into their homes. An estimated 25% of the 95 skeletons examined had large cracks in their skulls, indicating they had been killed by a strong blow to the head. 33% of the 742 skeletons showed signs of bacterial infections, and 13% of women's teeth and 10% of men's teeth were damaged, suggesting an unbalanced diet with too many grains compared to other foods. Conditions were especially unsanitary, as the research team discovered high levels of human and animal waste residue on the walls and floors. Overcrowding, close living quarters, and unsanitary conditions caused diseases to spread, which played a major role in Çatalhöyük becoming a city of death. Examination of the leg bones of people from later periods revealed that the residents of Çatalhöyük had to walk more in search of food. The overcrowding, food shortages, and diseases led to widespread violence in the city. This explains the skull fractures found in some of the skeletons. These ongoing tragedies spread like a curse, ultimately leading to the collapse of Çatalhöyük after 1,000 years. Çatalhöyük is considered the first urban center in the world, and the ancient people of that time endured many of the same challenges that modern humans face today. It highlights the struggles that humanity has always faced in urban life. 32 skeletons in giant pots from the 2nd century. 32 skeletons, dating from the 2nd to the 5th century AD, were found across 20 tombs with vaulted roofs. The individuals inside the tombs were not placed in coffins, but were sealed inside these giant pots. This unusual discovery occurred during excavations at the stunning 400-year-old Radosevic Palace, located on the island of Hvar in Croatia. The giant pottery found is of the amphorae type, a common vessel used by many ancient civilizations, characterized by its bulbous body, slender neck, and symmetrical structure. Inside the pots, in addition to the human skeletons, were various grave goods, including small everyday-use ceramic vessels, lamps, bottles, glass jars, coins, and other items. The giant ceramic pots help preserve everything inside perfectly. Most of the skeletons belong to children, including infants, but there are also some larger skeletons whose exact ages have not been determined. This special discovery has provided local archaeologists with entirely new insights into the pottery production technology of that period. However, the reason why these skeletons were placed in ceramic pots remains a big question, puzzling archaeologists who are still trying to solve the mystery. Panda skeleton, 2,100 years old. Chinese archaeologists have recently unearthed a mysterious skeleton dating back 2,100 years in a brick structure facing the tomb of Emperor Wen of Han. The skeleton was compared to modern species, and it was determined to belong to a rare Qinling panda. Qinling pandas are native to the Qinling Mountains, which form the natural boundary between southern and northern China. This species of panda is geographically isolated, leading to significant differences in morphology and genetics compared to the giant pandas of Sichuan. They have brown and white fur, instead of the typical black and white coloring of other panda species. Remarkably, a similar panda skeleton was also found in the tomb of Empress Dowager Ba, the mother of Emperor Wen of Han. In the past, pandas were considered a noble creature and were often offered as tribute to the royal family and foreign dignitaries. This may explain why it was placed in a special position within royal tombs. In addition to the giant panda, scientists also discovered the remains of other rare creatures such as tigers, proboscis monkeys, buffalo, antelope, ibex, and Tibetan cattle. This suggests that a sort of royal garden may have been built in the afterlife for Emperor Wen of Han. Researcher Wu Xinju from the Hubei Provincial Institute of Archaeology noted that the presence of the panda skeleton remains the most noteworthy, emphasizing the ancient connection between humans and this species. According to recent estimates, only about 300 to 400 Qinling pandas remain in the wild today. See 3,000-year-old mummy found under a pile of trash. Archaeologists in Lima, Peru, have made an astonishing discovery deep beneath thousands of pounds of trash, a 3,000-year-old mummy. This specimen was found by archaeologists and a team of students from Marcos University in the United States. They said the revelation that led to the discovery was a clump of hair and a skull that accidentally emerged. However, to excavate the entire mummy, they had to dig through and remove about 7,500 kilograms of dirt and trash at the site. As they expanded the excavation area, they also found other artifacts such as corn kernels, coca leaves, and various seeds. Archaeologist Miguel Aguilar, a member of the research team, stated that the mummy had features typical of the Manchu culture, a group of people who lived between 1,500 and 1000 BC. The Manchu people were known for building U-shaped temples facing the sun. Other characteristics, such as the posture of the mummy and its position within the U-shaped temple, suggest it was a sacrificial offering to the gods. Archaeologists believe that the individual was either abandoned or sacrificed during the later stages of the temple's construction. Skeletons in a fetal position by the Nile River. Egyptian archaeologists have recently uncovered a series of unusual ancient graves along the Nile River where the skeletons are placed in a fetal position next to artifacts over 3,500 years old. The graves date back to the second pre-dynastic period in Egypt, around 1782 to 1570 BC. According to Mustafa Waziri, the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, these skeletons were not buried alone. The graves also contained animal remains, stone artifacts, painted pottery fragments, and rare black pottery. What is particularly intriguing is that most of the deceased were positioned unusually. It appeared as though they had squatted and then remained in that position, lying sideways with their arms pulled toward their chest and their heads bowed toward their hands. Many of the graves even had stone rings around the deceased, with artifacts placed beside the skeletons inside the stone rings. Unfortunately, due to the ancient burial practices, the skeletons were not well preserved, which means the archaeologists will need more time to study and understand the historical context behind these mysterious remains. 6 skeletons found, face down in a cave. On the cliffs of Gran Canaria Island in Spain, a mystery remains unsolved. Archaeologists have discovered 6 skeletons lying face down. Some of the remains were bound and covered with stones. The identities of these individuals and the exact time of their deaths remain unanswered. According to an initial assessment by archaeologist Veronica Alberto, who leads the excavation team, it is clear that these individuals underwent a violent death centuries ago. They were not buried in the conventional sense. This burial practice represents a highly symbolic form of violence. Some of the bodies were forced onto the surface and then stones were thrown on top. Others had their hands and feet bound or were tied with straps. Additionally, these mysterious skeletons share some common features. They were all male, with strong arms, suggesting they might have participated in some form of physical activity. However, determining the exact time of death is challenging. It is possible that these are the remains of indigenous people, but due to the nature of the archaeological site, the team needs to expand the investigation to determine whether they could belong to the period after the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire around the 15th century. Currently, no objects or materials have been found to provide clues about the men's identities. Therefore, archaeologists will need to wait for results from carbon dating to provide the most accurate answers. 10-meter-long giant skeleton. The legend of giants has always brought strange stories and debates about whether they truly existed or were merely products of human imagination. In fact, there have been several recorded instances of giants or creatures resembling humans, but much larger than any known species. In 1976, near the Rosia, Montana mine, a giant human skeleton measuring 10 meters in length was discovered in a tunnel believed to be from the Hyperborea people. Many believe this is the skeleton of a giant. According to ancient Greek texts, Hyperborea was a land inhabited by people as early as 450 BC. This land was located much farther north than other regions and was the home of the Hyperboreans. Some ancient writings state that their day lasted as long as our modern 365 days, and they lived to be 1,000 years old, largely because they were free from war and disease. They lived peaceful lives, creating music and instruments. Many legends say that soldiers from the Atlantic Ocean once tried to invade and conquer Hyperborea, but they were stopped by the giant inhabitants of the region. The existence of Hyperborea has been widely debated throughout ancient history, though there is evidence suggesting the land was real. Many believe that in order to survive the constant heat of the sun, this land must have been moved to somewhere in the Arctic, possibly Siberia or northern China today. Meanwhile, the French author Robert Charroux, 1909 to 1978, believed the Hyperboreans were ancient astronauts who chose the coldest region on Earth to live, as it resembled the climate of their home planet. The Hyperborean Tunnel, also known as Tunnel 13, lies beneath the village of Cornea in Romania. Many sources suggest this tunnel was built around 5,500 years ago by the Agathyrsi people. Among the most peculiar findings in the tunnel was the discovery of a 10-meter-tall giant skeleton. At the time, scientists believed the giant had been buried there. The skeleton was later sent to Russia for analysis, but strangely, it has disappeared without a trace. Another oddity is that when the tombstone was lifted during the excavation, it revealed the entrance to a chamber. This chamber, with a 4-meter diameter, contained a spiral staircase leading down, where a mysterious violet light emanated. The origin of this violet light remains unidentified. In an attempt to understand the source of this light, a linguist descended into the chamber, but no one else was brave enough to follow him. Since then, the linguist has never been seen again. Those who were present at the time were forced to sign confidentiality agreements, which is why the secrets beneath the staircase remain a mystery. According to historical documents, the people of Romania have previously discovered giant skeletons. These large skeletons were uncovered in Sciani, in the Buzăului Mountains, where locals found remains taller than 2.4 meters alongside broken pottery. The locals then connected these discoveries to the ancient Tartarian giants. They believed these giants were the creators of 2 underground corridors beneath the Tainita Mountains. 1,500-year-old Maya queen. Archaeologists have recently discovered the skeleton of a Maya queen dating back 1,500 years inside a mysterious pyramid in the Guatemalan jungle. It is still unclear who this Maya queen was, but the research team believes she was royalty due to the artifacts and the ceremonial burial site where she was found. This discovery suggests that there may still be the remains of a king somewhere within the pyramid complex. The 3 pyramids were found on the outskirts of Huitzna in the Holma region of Guatemala. During the excavation of a nearby watchtower, the researchers also found the remains of children who had been sacrificed. Additionally, archaeologists uncovered finely crafted pottery used to hold chocolate, with inscriptions naming the king who owned the vessels. The archaeologists noted that it was incredible to gather so much information from such a simple artifact. This discovery has provided insights into the identity and family connections of the owner of the vessel and even the time of their death. Tomb containing 17 ancient skeletons. The tomb containing 17 mysterious skeletons was discovered at the bottom of a pond outside the village of Sanguanmiao, Zhejiang, Shandong Province, China. No one expected that beneath the calm surface of the pond lay a large ancient tomb until the water was drained and the area cleared. After the water was removed, experts discovered a tomb with a total area of about 300 square meters. What was peculiar about this find was that it seemed the tomb's owner had taken an entire farm with them to the grave. Archaeologists found many types of animal bones, including poultry, cattle bones, and the ribs of rodents. Furthermore, the experts also discovered the skeletons of 2 children. Ultimately, the experts confirmed that the tomb contained the remains of 17 individuals who may have experienced a horrific event over 1,000 years ago. Among these individuals were both men and women, old and young. Unfortunately, there are no other clues remaining in the tomb, so the identities of the 17 skeletons remain a mystery. Experts can only speculate that this tomb was likely built at the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty. This discovery is considered one of the most sensational finds in Chinese archaeology. 2,400-year-old mummified body found in a bog. In the mid-1950s, a Danish family, while digging peat for fuel, accidentally discovered the body of a man with many unique features. The shape of the skeleton indicated it was a man, curled up in a fetal position with a rope around his neck. Due to the well-preserved state of the body, the family believed it was a recent murder victim and immediately called the police. However, when researchers began analyzing the remains, they discovered it was the mummified body of a man who had died thousands of years ago. After years of analysis, it was revealed that the man died around 405 to 380 BC during the early Iron Age in Denmark. The victim, aged between 30 and 40, had been hanged as part of a sacrificial ritual. The body was named Tolland Man after the village where it was found. The revelation of this discovery stunned everyone. Many experts have stated that the Tolland Man peat bog mummy is one of the most remarkable discoveries ever made. The most striking feature of the body is the victim's face, which appears calm and serene, with no visible signs of worry. He looks as though he is sleeping and could wake up at any moment. The cause of death was determined to be hanging. Afterward, Tolland Man was placed in a peat bog. This burial method was quite unusual because during that period it was common for the dead to be cremated and buried in dry soil. Scientists explain that peat bogs are different from typical wet soils. They have high acidity and very low levels of nutrients and oxygen, making it nearly impossible for microorganisms to survive. As a result, the peat bog acted as a natural coffin, preserving the body remarkably well. This is why the victim's soft tissue and external features were so well preserved, even after thousands of years under the peat. Rupkund Skeleton Lake. At an impressive altitude of over 5,029 meters above sea level, Rupkund, also known as Skeleton Lake, is a pristine body of water located in Uttarakhand, India, in the Himalayas. The lake remains nearly frozen year-round. However, on a summer day in 1942, a chilling mystery was accidentally discovered here. At that time, an Indian forest ranger named Hari Kishan Madhwal stumbled upon hundreds of human skeletons and skulls, some still partially covered in flesh. As the ice began to melt, more skulls and bones were discovered at the bottom of the lake. This skeleton lake lies at the foot of the Trisal mountain range, about a 5-day walk from the nearest human settlement. Researchers have confirmed that there are up to 800 bodies buried in this location, which has earned the nickname Skeleton Lake. Several theories have emerged about this discovery, but no conclusive evidence has been found to explain it. Many brave tourists have even ventured to the summit of the Himalayas to uncover the mystery of Skeleton Lake. This discovery occurred during World War II. Initially, British officials in India feared the skulls might belong to Japanese soldiers, possibly part of a secret invasion attempt. However, another theory suggests the bodies could be those of Tibetan traders traveling along the Silk Road who died from a plague. Some locals believe the site is a cemetery for those who perished in a fierce hailstorm, believed to be a manifestation of the Hindu goddess Nanda Devi. After much debate, A 5-year study by scientists revealed that the bones found in the lake date back about 1,200 years. Carbon dating showed that the people who died at the lake did not die at the same time and could have passed away up to 1,000 years apart. Their genetic makeup also shows a diversity of ethnicities. 23 skeletons have ancestors related to modern-day Indians, with deaths occurring during the period between the 7th and 10th centuries. Meanwhile, 14 skeletons are most closely related to people from the island of Crete in Greece, in the Mediterranean. The remaining skeletons have Southeast Asian ancestry. This group of 15 individuals died between the 17th and 20th centuries, possibly in a single event. These were the remains of both men and women, all adults who were healthy and unaffected by disease at the time of death. As you can see, through the journey of exploring these mysterious skeletons and mummies, we open up a world full of riddles and secrets waiting to be uncovered. These discoveries not only help us understand the past better, but also expand our view of what history may have hidden. Can you imagine what will happen when these secrets are fully decoded? Stay with us for more fascinating discoveries in future videos. And don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss any of our intriguing explorations. For now, goodbye, and see you again.